Hey, and welcome back to the next episode of the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast. I'm Bobby, this is Aaron,
Yo.
And this is today's guest, Jonathan Buhler. What's up, John?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good, man. We appreciate you being on. And listeners, if you can tell, it's a little busy here because we are live from Import Alliance, the 20th anniversary. All right, so we met John. I mean, I think, have you known him a little longer?
I've known of him.
He's
a legend in the scene.
Legend in the scene.
I don't know about that, y'all.
and I kind of met you a little bit last year, chatted on the internet, and then, of course, I see you with your recent acquisition, and I'm like, all right, I can mess with this dude. He's pretty cool. So, John, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, Jonathan Buhler. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, so I've been in the South my entire life. Moved up to Tennessee to go to music school, which is what my passions like, were really around. But then growing up, man, I got so intertwined with cars. Mm-hmm. My dad bought a 73 240Z back in 1978.
Oh, wow.
So second owner car. And he drove it. He just drove it 320,000 miles. And in 1998, he put it up. But I just remember it was playing music and then dreaming about cars. Mm-hmm. And then, when you get to a position to where you can start, really solidifying what you want as a teenager, I was gravitating towards a Z because that's what my dad had. Yeah. I wanted a 350Z. And then really what it just came down to is my dad, for my 15th birthday, gave me that 240Z.
Oh, wow.
And we worked on it and restored it together. And then so by the time I exited high school and started going to college, we had this beautiful restored 240Z, and I met my wife with it. It was just like a whole thing, right?
Oh, wow.
So me in a nutshell is basically music and cars all kind of crumpled up into one thing. Yeah. And so, but it was really funny though, because I thought my career would be in music and then cars be a hobby. Well, now my career is in automotive, and now my hobby is music. So we've done a complete 180.
Funny how that works.
Exactly, right? It's interesting, but I will say that moving into Nashville was just an absolute blessing because Nissan moved their headquarters from Gardena, California, to Nashville, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So back in 2006, and so getting out of the music industry, I needed to find something else, and the stars aligned. I started working at Nissan straight out of school, and I've been there for 14 years. And so again, you take that passion for cars, and now you apply it to your everyday career, and then you get to enjoy music on the side. And I've just had a passion for Nissan. I've always had a passion for Nissan, and again, you can tie that back to just my days with my dad and his Datsun, and just enjoying it, and really that cultivated my relationship with the brand, and it's just expanded over until now I manage the Heritage Collection for North America for Nissan.
Oh, wow.
And so, me and a couple volunteers completely ensure, the keepsake and the overall, maintenance and the overall upkeep of our Heritage Collection here in the U.S.
Dang.
So it's impressive. But that's like me in a nutshell is my passion for Nissan cars and then music.
Wow, that we're episode 147 here, and we've had a lot of guys on, and I do think you are the first guy that created core memories as a young child with their dad, and followed through with that all the way up until current day. A lot of guys, and I'm sure this stuff kind of inspired you as well, but a lot of guys is Gran Turismo, a lot of guys is Fast and the Furious. A lot of guys, it's an older brother. But to hear that, you rode in this car, refinished it with your dad, and kept that so close to your heart, that's as genuine as you can get, right? It's almost destiny.
It honestly, and that word resonates so well with my wife and I, because every step of the way has been almost like fate driven, and it has been almost like destiny. To this exact point of us talking right now was all cultivated from me just sitting in the passenger seat of my car seat going to daycare in a 240Z.
Damn, that is
we're
crazy.
Getting deep, but it really, you can tie, every experience that I've gone through in life, and really can attribute it to singular moments in time in the past.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And so shout out to Mr. Buhler.
Yes.
Shout out to Mr. Buhler for raising a fine man that ends up contributing to our culture and maintaining an amazing collection of cars. That's awesome, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and my dad, he's an inspiration. He's a mentor. So I wouldn't be here without him. You know, right? So
Yeah.
and the support that I get from my parents, like my mom, and then my wife has been super supportive through all of this. I mean, it's really refreshing to have someone that you can talk to, especially about like big decisions around what cars to buy, and being able to have those discussions and being like, you know, this is a real big investment, but this makes sense, and it ties us together, and we're able to really, you know, cultivate our relationship around these cars as well. So it's not just singularly, you know, a relationship based around, you know, just pure love. It's like a passion for cars and other things as well.
So I think the listeners would agree, goals, right? Because you know, how many guys out there right now can't even listen to this around their wife, right?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So which is too bad. So like goals in that sense, to, you know, be able to have a relationship that ties in with your passion, that's huge, because those are the relationships that last.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. And so yeah, I'm super blessed from that perspective. So yeah, she's over there chilling.
Mrs. Buhler?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mrs. Buhler. What do you got?
What have I got?
Yeah.
So the Heritage Collection.
Yeah.
What in the U.S., like everyone has seen in Japan, the crazy cars they have over there. In America, what do they have?
So yeah, we're not on that level. Zama is just on a completely different level. And every time I step foot in the Zama like collection, it just blows my mind. But what we've done over the last 10 to 12 years, my predecessor really took time to cultivate the collection and bridge gaps that were already kind of existing in the collection at that time. So you got to think, when you move from Gardena, California to Tennessee, you can't really bring a lot of cars. So unfortunately, we purged a lot that we had like over the many, many years that we were headquartered in California. Okay. So to start off with, we had roughly like 30-ish, so anywhere between 25 and 30 cars. Now, we're at like 85.
Oh, wow.
That's a bump up.
Yeah. So
that's good.
And we've done a really good job of, again, curating the collection to really tie into the gaps that we had. So like we've got cars all the way starting from the 50s, so the late 50s when we brought Datsun brand into the US. Yeah. We even have a 1937 Conut Roadster, so that's one of the very first Datsuns ever brought into the US. So we have a restored version of that as well that we have in the collection. But again, everything that we have is specific to the US market. So anyone looking for like JDM specific cars,
it's not it.
We're not going to have it.
Yeah.
I will say though that we have one car that is the exception. We have the very first R34 GT-R ever brought into the US. It was used for the auto show circuit when we were launching R35 in the US. And so it is the very first one that was used for the auto show circuit.
That's cool.
And do you have a right-hand drive 35?
Yeah, that is the right-hand third. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Because I remember that popping out at something back in the day, like 09, 2010, and everybody's like, oh my gosh.
That's the car. And so, I used to go to events like this on behalf of the company. Okay. And now I'm in a position to where like I can enjoy it with my wife and we can come as not in a work environment. Yeah. And so, like we've got our team though that's here with Nismo, promoting a lot of the new parts that we're offering, as well as a lot of the new accessories for our Z, for Frontier. And I'm not going to try to pitch you guys, but nonetheless, like the company has put a lot of effort behind the Heritage Collection. And so for anyone who comes into Nashville, and I can leave some of my info. They can personally reach out to me, and we can work on trying to find times to get access into the collection. Because unfortunately, it's not open to the public. But what's great about the collection, again, is you're going to see like some really rare Datsuns. Yeah. I don't know of anyone else here in the U.S. that has a 1961 Datsun Fairlady. Like. First generation Fairlady, it was the one that started the whole nomenclature for the Fairlady all the way through the New Z and all the other regions besides the US. It's like, that's the beginning. That's the one. And so, it's really cool when people get to see that in person and they're like, oh my God, this is what started it. So it's really cool, but I'll leave info. But
I would take you up on that someday because, I was lucky enough to get into Zama and, get the time and, mind-blowing, but and I fully understand different scale. That's the motherland. That's where these cars were engineered, right? Yep. But to see the U.S. heritage, being a Nissan fan, period, you can appreciate it maybe not just as much, but almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll for sure be hitting you up. You're gonna have to. You might have to block me off that one. You know?
Absolutely. No, I would totally be glad. And again, it's just really great to share those cars.
Oh yeah.
Because again, you know, a lot of people, you know, they look at the brand today, and you know, it's good to look at the past and see and reminisce like where we were at that time and where we could be going as a company into the future.
Yeah.
And so I take employees through there on tours all the time, and it really motivates them because, again, they see like how influential the Datsun 510 was, or you know, the 300ZX for the U.S. market. You know, especially even the 350Z being like a new entry back into the Z to bring enthusiasts back, a car that could really, you know, offer an affordable sports car. Like, and they completely not forgot, but it's just like you really instill that in them, and they're like, oh my god,
right? Like, it kind of brings them a little closer to feeling that. I could see that, and then understanding the heritage, right? Because you start working for Nissan, and maybe you're not thinking of all that. Maybe you're not even that guy.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And, okay, so to take it back to Mr. Buhler Z, right?
Yep.
So at 15 years old, he gives it to you. You guys restore it, a labor of love together.
Labor of love, yeah.
So where does it go from there in your kind of, I don't know what to call it, but in your path in this industry and in with cars, where does it take you from there?
Yeah, it took us on a really crazy route because honestly, that car, and then just the relationships that I made around that car, working with the ZCCA, you know, going to club events, then going to ZCon events, meeting this massive community of Z owners, and building relationships with them, and then utilizing those relationships over time is kind of one of the key ways that paved my direction on like my path in life, essentially. And then on top of that, what was crazy about that particular car is it got to a point where you were really not just like involving other people, but it was like it became like almost a family member, and it became almost like to a point you were sharing that car, you were making relationships with these people that you bought engines from, that you bought like a rear diff from, and then you keep those conversations alive, and then 15 years later you call that person up and they're working for like a supplier from like, you know, or something like that, and then you just cultivate those relationships, and then you use it as stepping stones. And the Z was a great stepping stone for how I got into Nissan, because and this is going to be crazy, y'all, but so my wife's father was literally flying back from Baltimore, Maryland, sitting next to my boss's, like when I first started at Nissan, my boss, his wife. And so they got to talking, and he was like, yeah, my son-in-law has a 240Z, like, and she was like, oh, well, my husband manages the Heritage Collection at Nissan. And then, again, if the 240Z did not exist, that conversation would have never happened.
Wow.
I would have never gotten a phone call like a week later saying, hey, you know, I understand you've got this car. You know, you must be like a big enthusiast. We had some discussions. I had coffee with him, and the next thing you know, I started at Nissan, and that's all she wrote. So again, it's like a crazy pathway that car led me to.
Yeah.
And again, it also led me to her, because when I moved that car up here from Georgia, we went on a date in it, and she was like, hey, I have this picture I want to show you. And she showed me a picture of her very first house that they moved into from Birmingham, Alabama to Tennessee, and across the street was a 240Z. And she said, I looked at that car all the time, and I fell in love with that car. And sure enough, I come pick her up on a date in a 240Z. How crazy is that, right?
That is wild.
So that's cool.
It goes back to the fate process, but unfortunately, and this is where we can kind of, you know, really pave the direction on how the R34 came to be, because unfortunately 3 years ago we had a pretty gnarly accident in that car.
Oh wow.
Not self-induced, it was unfortunately because of distracted driving.
But everybody's okay.
We're both okay, but the car did not make it. So, and I'll spare you the images, but we're really honestly lucky to come out of that pretty much unscathed. But honestly, again, I look back at that moment and I'm like, that was the inflection point. That was the inflection point that led us to directionally where I'm at today.
Wow.
Because if it wasn't for that accident and for us walking out of that, you know, alive, I would have never, you know, made the decision to move on to a 1971 Skyline.
Yep.
And then I would have never used that as the stepping stone to get to the 34 today.
Yeah, that is crazy, and it's it's really sweet that you're aware, right? Like you're aware of how this car that your dad bought used took you through all of these things and created these opportunities that otherwise, I mean, maybe a guitar would have, but you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, maybe would never have even been a thing for you.
Exactly, and I have to always look back and put it in perspective. Like, to even own like this car, and to your point about Gran Turismo, like I grew up just like all of us.
Yeah.
You know, playing a 34 on Gran Turismo, or even on on Forza, like just like that was like my go-to car. And the 33. I mean, I'm looking at your beautiful 33.
Thank you.
I fell in love with this design, and this was like the gateway into the 34. And I was just like, man, if I could get a 33 or if I could get a 34, like that would be pinnacle. Yeah. And so like my head was always around what can I do to get to that point?
Yep.
You know, because exotics are great.
Yeah.
But when you make a connection with a car, especially from a brand that you're just like, I mean, borderline obsessed with.
Yeah.
Then you kind of got to do it, right?
Yeah.
And it was just always a dream. So yeah, I have to look back and be like, yeah, the sacrifice that Z, made for the two of us.
Wow.
To then move into what we're in today, I could,
Dude, that's so deep.
Yeah.
The car sacrificed itself to get you where you needed to go.
That's right.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it's
What a
crazy
car.
to think about. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a car, man.
How many miles were on it at the end?
Well, so after the restoration, we put probably another close to like 50 to 60,000 miles. We
Wow.
drove that
You drove
car
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's awesome.
and
I love that.
Yeah, and again, like I took it to shows and met so many great people. Like just coming over here and walking over here, just rekindling, like, and saying hey, and like those relationships of people that I met through that car.
Right.
And they're like, oh, what are you driving now? And they're like, oh, no way, like I saw, and it's just like, so yeah, it's really cool, and I was so blessed to have that car. But yeah, now the 34 is like just the,
Yeah. And so, all right. And so on that note, so a lot of people think, right? You're managing the Heritage Collection. You have a 34. Obviously, Nissan got you that car, right? I can't imagine how many people that maybe don't understand think, well, obviously Nissan got you that car. Is this how it works?
That's a demo, right?
Yeah. That's a damn.
I've gotten some questions around that, but what's really funny about that though is I think society now just truly understands that to actually own one of these cars, like you've got to work for it.
Yeah. There's sacrifice involved.
Yeah, and I work for the company. Sure, I work with the Heritage Collection. Sure, I have my normal 9 to 5 on the corporate strategy and planning side of the company, and we're doing really great work to cultivate the company. But it's just like, yeah, they're not going to have a 34 down in our vehicle salon for product planning that they're just going to let some Joe Schmo drive.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people realize it's a sacrifice to get to where you can pick one of those cars up, and luckily though we live in a day and age to where like if you have the means and you have to drive, you can achieve those dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Because these companies are doing great work to allow us to be able to import these cars easily. I don't know like how your process was, but I mean, all I had to do was sign some paperwork and communicate with my guys, and that was it. And the car came in, and I worked with the transport company, and that was it.
And so who got you the car? That's where I want to get to, because no, I think that it's important for this story of who got you the car to be put out there, so that people can understand that this can be easy, it can be smooth, and that you can trust importers.
Absolutely.
So how'd you get the car?
Yeah, so I got to take one step back before I kind of give you the lowdown. But basically, after the Z accident, I worked with a really good friend of mine. He's a big collector out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he had this 71 Skyline.
Oh.
And I, kind of sweet-talked him a little bit. And we kind of came to an agreement, and I went down and picked that car up.
Oh, so you got a Hako.
So I had a Hako for all of 8 months because I went to Tokyo Auto Salon in 23 on behalf of the company where we were launching 24 GT-R.
Okay.
And so while there, though, there were some discussions brewing in the background because there was a collector out of Texas that was interested in picking up a Hakoska. And so, you know, one of the guys, the sales director at Top Ring.
Yeah.
So Top Ring Importers, so Brian, he came to me and was like, hey, I've got a guy who's very interested in a Hokoska. Would you be interested in, you know, working out a deal to where I can broker the sale of this and we can work on getting a 34? Okay. So my situation's going to be a little different than, you know, someone in a different position.
You had something to give.
Right. Yeah. But the backside of the process, though, which is what 99% of folks are going to go through when they import a car, like, I'll get to that because that's going to be 100% the same.
Yeah.
But to get there, it was a bit different. But yes, we brokered the deal. Everything worked out, and I specifically said, I want, you know, a one owner or as close to a all original car as I could get. Yeah. And they delivered. Yeah. And they had this one car that I had already set aside for our motorsports team, and I already knew from looking at the pictures, like, this car is so clean, like, this is the one. And they were like, yeah, it's yours if you want it. Here's the price. We came to an agreement, so I sold the Hokoska, and I picked up the GT-R, but that process afterwards was so smooth. So literally working with Brian, talking with him, working with the rest of the team there, you know, they were sending me pictures of, like, the modifications that I had them do over in Japan, because at the time the yen was weak. I could get parts over there because, again, the yen was weak. Yeah. And so they did a lot of maintenance. They did a lot of like small modifications. So they installed the Olin coilovers on it. They put the Mines titanium exhaust all on it.
Oh, nice.
So that way it was peace of mind, knowing that these guys who had already curated, you know, the purchase of this vehicle for me can now put these parts on. And then, so yeah, literally when the time came to import it, June of last year, they were like, here's all the paperwork. Here's everything that you need to sign on your behalf. They sent it all over to me, signed it, sent it back. And then, yeah, they just kept up with me on, like, when the car came over. And honestly...
Were you tracking the boat?
I was.
Oh, yeah, it's so
I have
bad.
the pictures. I have the pictures of, like, the boat coming across the Atlantic or the Pacific. And I was, like, watching it go into Long Beach. And I was like...
Yeah.
But, yeah, the whole import process, you know, going through, you know, customs, going through the duty process, like, everything was super easy. And I would do it again tomorrow. Like, and I even contemplated about picking up, like, another car from them just because it was such an easy process. And so I really owe it to those guys for helping me go through that as, like, someone who's never experienced something like that, to feel confident that these guys are helping me in each step of the way. And so, I mean, they even went above and beyond. Like, they got it back into their shop in Cyprus, and they went through the car, and one of my, you know, I think of him as a friend, but Sean Morris. Yep. Yeah, he, you know, he noticed something was, like, wrong with the engine. It was, like, spitting and doing some stuff, and he realized, like, he even went and put it on a dyno to diagnose it. So that way I knew as the owner, like, this car is solid. Yeah. And he addressed the things, and everything was perfect. And it's like, how many people can you point to and say, like, these guys would do this for you, especially when you have an investment that's this, you know, an investment like this. You know, you're scared because you don't know, you know, the condition of the car unless you actually go and see it. True. You know, there's, like, all of these variables, and they made you feel comfortable.
A lot of trust involved, and what I see them as, you know, obviously I also purchased my 34 from them, is facilitators. They will facilitate everything that you need to make sure that you have the experience that you're looking for. And, you know, I've had plenty of conversations with Yaska and, you know, Brian, and it's like, it's not just about the sale for them. And, you know, I can speak for that firsthand, going over and doing the track days and, you know, walking up, my car's out there ready for me to just go blast around Tokyo. Like, I don't know another place I could do that. So that's why I needed to make sure within this episode we had, you know, just your observation of how they do business, because as we know, because they are high profile, it's very easy for the negative to be loud.
Oh, exactly. No, I completely agree. And, you know, I wasn't naive about the, you know, some of the feedback, but honestly, from my experience, none of that's warranted. I mean, those guys were great. And look, I'm not a YouTube star. I'm not, like, you know, some high profile VIP guy, you know. I like to think that I have a good relationship with them. Yeah. But they made that process so worth wanting me to do it again. And they gave me that confidence and the trust. So I was like, yeah.
And so, okay, so you get the car, right?
Yeah.
like, how was that? What was that like, right? Like, when you get that thing, I assume because they're in California, I'd assume it came on a carrier.
Yeah, it did. We had a little detour before it actually came to me, though, and I'll just go ahead and preface this. Like, the waiting was excruciating.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine, dude.
The waiting was absolutely excruciating. My wife can attest. All my close friends can attest. I was like losing my mind. I was like, can I please just get this car here now? But no, we took a detour, and I had it go up to Z-Car Garage, up in San Jose, California. Rob Fuller, he's a dear friend of mine, one of the best D-tuning shops ever. Like, if I still had my 240, it would be up there with him. But like, he does such amazing work, and he's so trusted by all of the Z community and now the GT-R community. I was like, I need to send my car to him, have him go through it. And I don't know about y'all, but like a stash of parts that I had,
of course.
I had accumulated over like months and months and months. And so like I drop shipped it up to him, and yeah, he installed everything because my schedule was like super crazy. And so he did all of this stuff, and then as of April, earlier this year, April, the car got shipped to me.
It landed.
And I specifically remember the driver pulling up literally in front of my house, and he had the lift gate coming down with the car on it, and I was just like, you know,
Yeah. It's like,
it was so surreal. So yeah, it was just like, you know, all of, like we talked about before, you know, all of that literally led up to this. Everything led up to that singular moment where I'm standing in my front yard watching a 34 get delivered.
That's
and
crazy.
It was insane.
It comes into realization, and it's just like, I did it.
We did it.
Yeah. Yes,
we did
absolutely.
It. Like, and I don't know. I will remember that day forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just that special. And then getting in it and starting it up for the first time and pulling it into my garage, like, hands down, like, emotional. It was just, it's for real.
And so did it show up with the LMGT4s on?
It did.
So it showed up like, it didn't just show up a stock. Yeah, it showed up
ready.
like ready. Yes.
It was ready.
That's cool. I mean, yeah. And you have awesome taste. I checked out the car. Dude, those calipers look brand new.
The car's so clean.
Like,
now.
I was just like, did he replace these? This is crazy. Yeah, I mean, props on being able to source the one.
Yeah.
And is that base or is that B-spec?
So it's a base. I wanted a base because I knew that I was going to do the modifications to it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, personally, I would have liked a V-spec, but out of what they had in inventory at that time, this one made the most sense because I'll show you. It still has the PDI tape on the door sill on the driver's side.
Stop.
Because it is that clean. And I was just like, I would be a fool to turn down this amazing example. And after seeing all the pictures and talking with Top Rank and working with Brian and like, I was like, dude, this is 100% the one. This is it. And sure, you know, I'm missing the carbon diffuser, but I can pick one of those up, you know, from CW Collective now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of other opportunities to really make it however I want to make it.
Yeah, Charles is doing amazing with that stuff. It's. I hope he continues because what he's doing for this culture, specifically the GTRs, is amazing. It's what we need because, I mean, as we both know, right, the stock diffuser right now, you're almost $9,000 deep to get a piece of carbon for that
Just
car.
some carbon. Yeah, just some carbon.
Yeah, so I think you probably made the right choice because, I mean, let's be real, the difference between a base and a V-spec isn't that much, but the difference in pricing is.
Yeah.
So you get the 34, right? You're all smiles, she's all smiles, you guys are taking it out to dinner or whatever. But what comes next?
That's a great question because honestly, I feel like it's almost in its final form. Mm-hmm. Now, I have been toying around with this idea, and I'll probably get some flack for it, but I have been toying around because I love QM1. The white is just, I love the white.
Yep.
But to pay homage to my 240Z, which was in Le Mans Sunset Orange,
oh wow,
there's a part of me, and I wouldn't repaint the car. I would just wrap it.
Yep.
To keep the originality of the car.
Yeah.
But like just as a next step, I don't know. I've only seen one other like really dark bronze R34, and it's a guy who's in Japan. Mm-hmm. And I follow him on Instagram. And every time I see that car, I like melt a little bit because it's just like, I know, again, I'm going to get some flack for it because it's not an original color to the car or anything like that, but there's just a part of me that thinks like if I did that, I would just feel like the car like connected that much more to the car.
It's like paying homage to it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
and you
Super
have that
fulfillment.
connection, right?
Yeah,
With the car. So
that
I mean,
color. Because I
Yeah.
had a 350Z that was Le Mans Sunset Orange as well. I have like this
Dang.
infatuation with that color.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's just an idea that popped in my head.
Yeah.
But honestly, the car, the way it sits, is pretty much in its final form because, you know, I replaced the stock twins with, you know, Garrett, I think they're GT2860 Dash 5s.
Oh, okay.
You know, so the whole engine, and it's on a Haltech 2500 Elite, like everything is pretty much as I would do it.
Reliable.
It's super reliable. It makes 440 to the wheels. It's like as perfect as I could really kind of want it at this stage. But, you know, maybe single turbo one day.
Yeah.
Or we just leave it as is and just enjoy it the way it is. I don't know.
I mean, you know, I don't think wrapping the car, especially with your story, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it's
I think so.
the purists, right? Like, you wrapped it. Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
I'll put it back to QM1 if you really
Yeah,
heard that.
yeah. I do hope that you do that because is your father still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
he is.
you pull up in that thing in that color.
I think
oh
he
my
would
gosh.
get so emotional.
Yeah.
Like even thinking about it right now because he hasn't seen the car yet because he hasn't come up to Nashville yet to come see the car. And so when I have him up here, I'm super excited to have him see it and then imagine like maybe in a few months having it in a different color. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and giving him that first ride. When you were in the back of the 240Z in your car seat, and now full circle, you're giving the old man a ride in the 34. That's going to be amazing.
That's the most like full circle I think you could ever make.
Yes.
It is, dude. I'm
That's a
definitely
story.
happy to hear that. That's really cool. And so, okay, I know you can't say too much, right? But a lot of our listeners are Nissan guys, right? And I know you can't say much. Hold on, let me repeat that again. I know you can't say much, but are there? This is the best way I could ask this question. Are there things for guys like me and Aaron to be looking forward to?
As a company as a whole, yes.
Okay,
Enthusiasts have definitely
Yes.
something to things to look forward
Yes.
to, and I'll put this out there because I'm actually really confident in our leadership. Our leadership in this region has really the company at heart. They're passionate folks, and then even globally, our global leadership team really want to bring that nostalgia and that heritage back into the company. And so you're going to see that very much so in our ad campaigns. You're going to definitely see that moving forward with our product portfolio. And again, when you put a product-oriented CEO in place who is really passionate about the brand, you're going to see a lot of really cool stuff happen. And I'm really excited for the direction that the brand is going to go. Obviously, though, all of the automotive companies are having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
But, if we can get past and through these challenges, which I'm confident that we're going to be able to, it's going to be like a resurgence of product that's really going to make us really, really enthused.
That's exactly what I know some of us needed to hear. There. It doesn't matter what it is. If it gets back to the heart and soul of Nissan, if Espinosa pushes us in that direction, that's all we needed to hear right there to keep that dream and that support alive, right?
Yeah, it's there. I can tell you, the enthusiasm is there. So our goal as a company is now to execute, and I'm confident that we're going to be able to execute.
Hell yeah, that is awesome. That's what we all need. And so, okay, we got the future for the 34. We got the future, a slight glimpse for John. I mean, dude, I think this is good. I think we did it.
That's great.
Is there anything you want to add?
No. I'm just grateful that you guys had me on. I appreciate you guys, and honestly, like what you guys are doing to bring awareness to the brand and just everything that you guys are doing, like I love it. And this
Thank you.
Like as an enthusiast, like what you guys are doing, this is what we need more and more and more of. And I appreciate you guys, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for IA this year, and I'm so glad that you brought your absolutely beautiful cars.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to share mine with everyone.
And yes, for sure. You best believe I saw that thing pull in.
Yeah, I did
And it
too.
was all I could do not to just sprint over there like a fanboy and just maul it. Yeah. And dude, yes, beautiful car. I'm looking forward to the years to come, you know, and just see how you do things with it. Where can the listeners find you?
Yep.
On the internet?
I'm on Instagram at Buhler, Buhler 240Z. So Buhler 240Z.
You better not change that either.
No, it's not going away. That's my only social channel right now.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day I'll start expanding. But you can follow me there because I post all my build content there.
Okay.
So people can kind of keep up with some of the randomness that I'm kind of doing in the background. I need to do a better job of posting, but yeah, you can definitely follow me there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. John, we appreciate you being on for sure. And seriously, from us and everybody listening, thank you for what you're doing with Nissan, having the culture at heart. You know, it definitely, I not to speak for Aaron, but I know it gives us confidence just knowing that there are guys like you up there just doing your best, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, just know that there's many more of us behind the scenes really, you know, working to really bring the brand back into, you know, that.
Man,
really,
I can't wait.
Yes.
So,
All right, Jonathan, we appreciate you. Live from Import Alliance 2025, the 20th year anniversary, episode 147. I'm Bobby, this is Aaron, and Jonathan Buhler.
See ya.
Peace.